Hey, everybody, I hope you'll pause just a minute because this is very, very important. I hope you'll share what you're going to see here with your representatives and share with your friends and followers, because there's a group of Americans that the government weaponized against that we need to take care of. What you're going to see is what's happening at universities right now, where they're shutting down the educational institutions, and then you're going to see what parents were treated like for doing much less.
Showing the protesters barricading entrances to the building, then hanging a Palestinian flag out of a window. This all part of those Gaza war demonstrations taking place on college campuses nationwide, including there at Columbia. The protesters taking over the hall nearly 12 hours after Monday's 2 p.m. deadline for those demonstrators to leave an encampment of around 120 tents or face suspension. Columbia's public safety issuing a statement saying that members of the university community who can avoid coming to the campus should do so, excluding essential personnel. A school spokesperson told our Fox 5 New York team that suspensions had already started, but did not provide any additional details.
It's a very hostile environment. It's not an educational environment anymore. They've taken over the campus, and the university has lost complete control over this campus. People can't access the essential services that they need on campus, and they can't access their dining halls because of a group of people that decided to take control of campus.
Now, what you're going to see here is an entire video sped up of what I was arrested, sentenced to 100 days in jail, fined $10,000 for being concerned about school kids.
Listen to the tape, and a couple things I noticed. One, defendant never raised his voice. I listened to the whole tape. He never stood up, which I found very significant, because you're right. His size would be intimidating if he stood up and got in your face, but he didn't. He sat down the whole time. That was one thing I was looking for, is what steps he did. I mean, what he did is he disagreed with you. That's not disorderly conduct. That's not rude. That's not threatening. You guys don't get to define how people disagree with you. School districts don't have that right. Citizens have that right.
What you saw in the background was a school going about its daily business and three of us fathers sitting in a school meeting. This was portrayed as an attack on a school, an attack on the principal. Now watch this.
As Superintendent Caruth told his staff and the parents of the school, there was no disruption. The situation ended peacefully with no disruption to the classroom environment or the educational institution. And you can't ignore that, Judge. No matter how much Mr. Caruth tried to avoid admitting that he wrote that, and having admitted that he only writes what he considers to be the truth. He tried to back out of that. He tried to avoid that. He tried to say, oh, that's taken out of context, or that's not all that I wrote, or this and that. No, he wrote that. It's clear to me he wrote that. And I think that answers your questions right there. And that goes directly to the elements of all the ones pertaining to the school and the interference with the school, disruption of the school, as well as disorderly conduct, and ended peacefully. There was no violence. There was nothing. This is a discussion. They went out to the media and posted all and spoke to the media, both locally and regionally and nationally. And then they complain that there's an uproar with the parents. They brought that upon themselves by speaking to the media about something that, frankly, they knew was going to be in litigation. That's exactly what the front office is for, to deal with unhappy parents, disgruntled parents, or to field these questions. And to claim that by doing their duty, that they couldn't be doing what they were supposed to be doing is not disingenuous, it's a contradiction. Mr. Walker is not guilty of trespass, of disorderly conduct, or any of the crimes, including disruption of the school environment or the school interference with the school, and we ask that you find him not guilty on all of the counts.
I was put through 3 days of trial with completely fabricated charges all over the media worldwide. I was portrayed as a terrorist. Merrick Garland, the Biden administration, the government admitted that they weaponized against parents. This issue still has gone unresolved. My own family, I was cancel cultured out of my job. I was shamed. The city of Tucson stole $10,000 out of our home sale. I was sentenced to 100 days in jail, which I refused to go to. What you're seeing here on the left is that these students at Columbia who have terrorized a school, taken it over, held it hostage. They're getting counseling and support. On the right, you'll see how the media worldwide treated a peaceful office meeting. School kids were committing suicide and they were accepting money to do so. They set us up and they framed us because they did not want to lose their millions of dollars from the CDC. But my story isn't the only example of parents being targeted by a weaponized DOJ. Not only was this mother arrested and her husband, but they handcuffed her 16-year-old daughter simply because they made a reasonable request to get documentation as to why their healthy child was being quarantined and the appeal process. She was thrown in county prison for 5 days, and she still has a warrant for her arrest because she refused to write a letter of apology to the principal who made an example of her. We need to get restitution for these parents, including my family.